Hey everybody, this is Juan Salvador from the Fish Project Cichlids, and today, you're going to get a part 2 of the video that I shot last week. That's right. You know what I'm going to be talking about? I'm going to be talking about Cuban cichlids. I'm going to be talking about Doviis. I'm going to be talking about Hartwegis. I'm going to be talking about Managuenses. That's right. Because today I'm going to reveal to you if the eggs that the fish laid last week are fertile. So, how about y'all just check it out right now? Check it out right here. It's alive! It's alive! Yes! Look at all those beautiful Cuban, 50% Cuban cichlid, 25% Hartwegi, 12.5% Dovii, 12.5% Managuenses, babies. Look at all those babies. I love it. So as you can see, the eggs are fertilized, the babies have hatched, and I'm just completely excited about what's going on here in T.F.P. Cichlids, because I don't know who else has done anything like this. I know in Thailand they crossed Cuban cichlids into flower horns and did all that stuff, and but I don't know who's doing any kind of breeding like this. So this is something big. This is something different, and I think this is something pretty new. And so, in addition to letting y'all see what happened with these fish, I also want to do T.F.P's Starman a little more justice. Last week in the video that I put out, I kind of put a really bad video of him. You couldn't really tell what he looked like. And so I thought I was going to share a little bit more about him too. I also wanted to share a little bit more about that female that I had told y'all, the daughter off of Nikos Brown's The Man. And so I wanted to let y'all know a little bit more about them. So here it is. So now that you've seen the update of 50% Cuban cichlid, 25% Hartwegi, 12.5% Dovii, and 12.5% Managuensis hybrids, from time to time here on these videos, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all updates so you can see them as they grow and you can see what they turn into. But now going on to Starman, I bred him to a Sid Vicious female, which, as y'all know, and those that don't know, Sid Vicious female is a female that a guy named Jared Crawford in the DC area bred. And he bred a 50% Managuensis, 50% Dovii male to female Hartwegi. And so the offspring of that, he called them Sid Vicious blood. They've been out in the hobby for a little while, and I got some a couple of years back, and it wasn't until about 3 years later that I started attempting to breed mine. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with them, what direction I wanted to take. So I just kind of had them in the back, you know, kind of just maturing and all that stuff, so that when the right time came and the right fish came, I could go ahead and breed them. So this guy, T.F.P. Starman, he's a Gus's red spot, and I bred him to the Sid Vicious female. Check them out. You see all that? These fish are amazing. I'm telling you. Unfortunately, you know, the Sid Vicious line, that cross, it didn't seem like a lot of the offspring came out too colorful, really bright looking or anything like that. And that's okay, you know, that's all right. Because that's what happens when you hybridize fish. And a little secret tip, I guess you would say, one of the things that I believe that the people in Thailand have over a lot of Americans is that the people in Thailand, they have a little bit more patience. They know how to sit on fish, let them grow. They give them time to grow so that they can come into their colors. But here in the United States, we have this mentality of this microwave mentality where we want things instantly. And so when we get fish, or we even hybridize our own fish, when we don't see the great colors and the beauty, we discount them as trash and we get rid of them. And I'd like to let y'all know that's not the way to go. That's not how you do it. You know, what you do is when you get your cross that doesn't look the greatest, you have to separate them out, find some individuals that look pretty well, you know, that look good, and breed them to something else. And that next cross tends to be one that'll get more color, more that'll look better, you know, that'll look real nice. But since a lot of people don't have patience here, they don't get to reap the benefits of that. Now, I've been able to reap the benefits of that from my breeding program that I started in 2009, 2010. But I also experimented that back in 2003 when I bred a male flowerhorn to a female Managuense, and I had subsequent generations, and I was just working on them. But I learned that you had to sit on fish for a while in order to wait for them to color up, and so I had experience, and I was able to have that knowledge to carry me through the times when I was discouraged, through the times when I had two fish that I waited months, you know, even there's some that I waited a year, you know, a year and a half to breed, and when I finally bred them, the offspring really didn't look like much, you know, and it takes a lot out of you, you know. You breed these fish and you expect them to look amazing, and it doesn't come out, it doesn't turn out sometimes. So you kind of get discouraged, and you say, well, let me get rid of these fish. You know, you see other fish you like, you have limited space, and so you tend to get rid of those fish, and you actually forfeit the possibility of breeding something amazing. And so that's one of the things that I was able to learn over the years of breeding hybrids. And so that's what I've learned with these fish in particular, these Sid Vicious offspring. They tend to not really have too much color, although I've been able to raise some males that have some really good color, have like good reds in their fins, have some really nice pearls on their cheeks and throughout their body, just have a really interesting and nice look, you know, and have nice slender appeal to them. They don't look real thick, big body like a lot of the ones that you see, you know. And that's been due to the way that I raise my fish, you know. Some people power feed their fish, they power feed, but I don't do that to my fish, you know. The only time I'll do that is if, let's say, I have a breeding, like let's say like Mega Man 2 bred to T.F.P's Dinamita, right? You know, that's like a rare cross. That's like super rare. You know, I'm always fighting against the clock. I'm fighting against possible, you know, fish getting sick, disease, fish dying out, that line getting extinct. So in a case like that, when I have something that's very rare, yeah, I power feed, try to get them to adult real quick so I can try to get a breeding out of them. But in general, I don't do that with my fish. I feed my fish just enough, and I don't really power feed them, you know, unless, you know, they're small fry and I'm trying to get them big, you know, to about 2 inches. But after about 2.5, 3 inches, I don't really do all that power feeding stuff, you know, because what happens is sometimes it's like, I guess you call it like the fat cat syndrome. You ever seen somebody got a fat old cat? A lot of y'all might have some fat cats. You overfeed the cat, you give him something, he gets so big and so just fat, you know, and you really can't see the full beauty that the animal has because you know, you are now overstepping their bone structure, and you're missing their bone structure and the way their fur sits on the body. Same thing with dogs. Some people overfeed their dogs, and I know a lot of people overfeed fish. They power feed their fish, and that's cool. You know, you want to get a fish big, that's all right. You know, you're trying to get your fish big. But for what I do, I don't do that, and because of that, I've been able to have nice looking Sid Vicious fish, you know. And of course, I'm not in other people's house to see what they do as far as breeding, but I'm just guessing that they were power fed, and they don't look fat. I mean, I'm not saying they look fat, but they have a kind of like a bigger shape. They kind of have like a Labrador's look to them, you know, which the ones that I have more of a Hartwegi fenestratus, you know, type look, maybe like a Nurasati type look, and so, you know, that's that. So, but going back to what I was telling y'all about, going back to talking about sitting on your fish and letting them mature, So that's what, a lot of people don't have patience to do that, and so they'll dismiss fish and get rid of them quick. But not me, because what I understand is that when I have a Sid Vicious fish, I have a 50% Hartwegi, right, on the female side. And what I found is that, I don't know if I want to share those secrets yet, but this is what I find. You know, when you hybridize fish, that the fish tend to look more of what like the female looks like. So so in the case of Sid Vicious fish, it seemed like a lot of the fish turned out to look a lot more like what a vieja would look like, you know, as opposed to what the Parachromis parents, the Managuenses, I'm sorry, not Managuenses, the Dovii Managuenses parents, what they look like. And so, even though the fish might not look like much, the hybrid, you got, I have an understanding that I have those genes in there. I have the 50% Hartwegi genes, which is a vieja, and then I have 25% Dovii, 25% Managuenses, which is Parachromis. So pretty much, you know, if you're looking on the side of Parachromis vieja, you have a 50% vieja and a 50% Parachromis type species that's going to come out. And so since I know I have those genes in there, I know I have the tail from the Managuenses, that beautiful tail. I know I have a lot of the blues from the Dovii, you know, and I also know that from the vieja I have even spots, speckling, and sometimes they have a nice tail, a little red along the back side of the tail, even the top side of the fins. So I know that I have those genes mixed in there, you know, and so when I have a fish that doesn't look like much, in the case of these Sid Vicious, I know that I can breed something into them to bring that out. And so in my case, I bred the female, the offspring that you saw, Cuban cichlid, into that, and I'm pretty certain that the next offspring will have a lot of patterns on them, and not be so plain looking like the Sid Vicious line looked like. But going back to Starman, so T.F.P. Starman, the Akari Farms Augusta Red Spot that I acquired from the Jefferson and Humphrey brothers in D.C., he looked really good when he was young. His color's really solid. You know, now that he's older, he looks okay. I've been feeding him New Life Spectrum, and so his colors have come out. He had a lot of turquoise and all that kind of stuff. But again, is he the best type of red spot I've seen out there? No, I wouldn't say he is. Is he like the Cesar Rentaria? One shout out to you, bro. You got some amazing fish. Is it like that? No, not like that. Or even like Nico's Browns, or even Frank Bloom's The Man, like that. No, he don't look nothing like that. But he has the genes, and he has that turquoise, I'm sorry, the violet color that he had, the speckling on his face. So I went ahead and bred him back to that Sid Vicious female to produce. Now I want you to, later on in the future, I'm going to make some videos on pedigrees, how to read pedigrees, about percentages and what all that kind of stuff means, how to read them, how to map out a breeding program and that kind of stuff. But for the sake of this this tutorial, what am I talking about? Sake of this video, I'm not really going to talk about that. But what I am going to say is that when like I was telling about Sid Vicious, when you just look at it, it's 50% vieja and a 50% Parachromis. And so I bred that back to T.F.P's Starman, and he's 100% vieja. You know, I don't know what kind of hybrid he is. He probably got some Hartwegi, probably got some Fenestratus. Well, maybe not no Fenestratus in there, but some Hartwegi. He has some Gutalatus and some other stuff. And who knows? I don't know. For real, I don't know. He's a hybrid, and they don't really give you that information like I do. I give y'all what I breed. You know what my fish are bred to, but they don't give you that kind of stuff in Thailand. And so you have what you have when you get what you get from Thailand. And you can't even trust them to tell you the truth, because they you know, they lie. You know, they're not going to tell you their secrets and all that. So some of them might be honest, but you know, I'll let you guys decide that for yourself, if they're honest. And even a lot of times people don't even think to even ask them what they're bred for. They don't even care about that kind of stuff. But going back to Starman, Starman is, for the sake of looking at things percentage-wise, he's 100% vieja. Although he's a hybrid, probably not 100% pure, you know, species, but he's 100% vieja. And I'm breeding him to a 50% vieja, 50% parachromis. So what that's going to produce in the next offspring, like I said, I hope it's not confusing to y'all, and I'll explain this in the future videos, but the offspring are going to be 75% vieja, 25% parachromis. And so what I think is going to happen to that, that's going to produce some kind of like red spot looking type, you know, some kind of vieja hybrid, but some of those are going to have that wide tail that the Managuenses carry. And even it'd be great if they carried that patterning on the back of their tails. So that might come through. It might not, being that it's only 25% parachromis and actually 12.5% Managuenses. What the Dovii does to the blood, a lot of times it'll bring that little small short tail, you know, and that's not, to me, that's not all the way fully desirable, you know. And that's one of the beauties of breeding Managuenses into your breeding program. You're gonna get a wide tail with some amazing fanning patterns on the tail. I don't know what they call it, fanning patterns, I guess. That's pretty much what that Starman Sid Vicious bloodline is producing, and I already bred them, as you already saw in the video. And so, and then just to touch on a little bit on I also bred Starman to another female. I mentioned it in my first video, my part 1 video, and I know it wasn't kind of clear, so I'm going to repeat things over to y'all until you get a hold of what I'm saying, so that you can understand the things I'm saying. So maybe you can make your own hybrids, breeding programs, all that kind of stuff. And so so basically I bred Starman to a daughter that I acquired from a guy who had some fish that he bought from Nikos Brown. And when I called Nikos and I asked him about this, I said, "Hey Nikos, this fish right here, what is this fish right here?" You know, the guy's name James. I don't know if his name is James Craig. I don't remember what his name was. I'm sorry, man. I know you're probably watching this video, but you know who you are. I bought your fish in Glen Burnie, and Glen Burnie, Maryland, United States of America. And I wasn't sure what it was. You told me that you got it from what's this guy's name? There's another guy in Glen Burnie. Man, I'm sorry, I just messed up. Oh, Josh Pollard. And I called Josh Pollard and I said, "Josh, where you get this fish from?" He said, "Oh, that fish, I got that fish. I went and selected it out from Nikos Brown's house." And when I called Nikos Brown, and Nikos Brown, man, he was, when I showed him the picture, he cussed. He was like, "Oh, man, you know," I'm not trying to cuss. I know I got some children watching this video, right? And I try my best not to cuss. I'm a Christian, right? And I try not to cuss. And so anyhow, Nikos Brown told me that this fish was off of this amazing breeding, but specifically he told me he was a son off the man. And I was so happy to hear that, because by this point the man had gone to Frank Bloom, and Frank Bloom had already sold that fish off to somebody else, and so I didn't, you know, get to acquire some of those. I did get some early on, but I had moved. I hadn't built this fish room yet, and I had lost a lot of fish. I lost Mega Man, you know, T.F.P's Mega Man. I lost his mother, T.F.P's Blue Dot. I lost a lot of fish. Oh my goodness. I lost T.F.P's Punisher's brother, who is one of Mega Man's son, bred to Iguana's sister, right? And I lost a lot of fish, and it was so demoralizing. And so in that time I lost some fish that I got from Nikos Brown, which was a shame. But I had a double bred offspring off of King Midas. Can you believe that? And I messed that up. But and I had a female that was off of the Jason and Humphrey brothers' pedigree. And pedigree is was King Midas's, one of his brothers, but specifically King Midas was Bumblebee bred to a. I know I'm going off tangents here, right? But it's all good. It was the Jason Humphrey brothers Bumblebee bred to a white female that David Jefferson, right? One of the Jefferson in the Jefferson Humphrey brothers, he had got from California. He got a white female that had a slight hump. It wasn't really all that. And then when they bred those fish, they liked them, but they wound up acquiring, I think it was one of Bumblebee's sisters or something like that, and she had a fat nut-headed female, and so she was a bona fide, huge hump-headed female. And so when they bred them, they got rid of those fish. They just sent them off to Richards at Beltway Aquarium, just kind of like got rid of them because quality-wise they weren't up to par to the type of fish that they bred. Nevertheless, a lot of those offspring still were amazing quality because they came off of the Jefferson Humphrey brothers Bumblebee. But yeah, so why did I even go there? Oh yeah, what I was telling you is I had a double bred son, or a double bred offspring off of Bumblebee, and I had, what that means is, for those that don't know, it means that King Midas had been bred to one of his daughters, and that's a double breeding right there. That's an inbreeding, but that's a double breeding, which would give you basically produce a 75% Bumblebee. I'm sorry, not 75%. 75%. What's that dude's name? King Midas offspring. But I also had offspring, a female. Oh my God, and I lost her. A female off of, that was the best producing male off of Bumblebee. His name was Pedigree. Pedigree came from Bumblebee bred back to his mother. His mother had a fat old hump, and and Pedigree just had a gigantic hump, and they bred Pedigree to, I think it was they bred Pedigree to his mother. So that was a super crazy inbreeding, and I had that offspring. Oh my God, I can't believe you know how you lose fish, amazing fish. Anyhow, let me get back to the story. So where I was at was that I bred Starman, T.F.P. Starman. I bred him to the Sid Vicious female. I bred that. I got those babies growing out now. And then I also bred Starman to a daughter off of Nikos Brown and Frank Bloom's The Man. And so now, but that's not even the crazy. I think that's amazing. But the even more amazing part is the female that Nikos bred to The Man to produce the female that I got. Her name is T.F.P. Sugarcane. She is freaking beautiful. Now, I'm gonna have to get with Nikos and ask him if he'll give me permission to put that information out there. He gave me permission before, and I don't really need his permission, but out of respect, you know, and I gotta reach out to him and make sure that he's cool with me airing this out. So make sure you stay tuned to the 3rd episode so that you can see. And I'm gonna talk specifically about that, and I want to even talk more about my opinion about The Man, right? How Frank Bloom, when he bred him, and I some things I think he should have did as far as breeding, which I didn't see him do, but it would have been great if he did that. And now I'm basically gonna do the things that a lot of those people that had The Man didn't do. Nikos Brown bred the heck out of The Man. He did really good with him, and so did Frank Bloom, you know. But there's some things that I think could have been done with him, but I didn't want to kind of, at that point, you know, a lot of people didn't. My name wasn't out there yet. People didn't really know a lot of what I was doing. I hadn't been posting videos, so I didn't want to reach out to Frank Bloom, who's like he's one of the top dogs as far as the fish game, you know, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and I would even say, you know, nationwide, maybe worldwide, because people, you know, tune in to fish worldwide. So I didn't want to be this guy coming out of nowhere saying, hey Frank, you know, you should do this with your fish, because I didn't think that, you know, I didn't want to come off being like, you know, I didn't want to, you know, form no kind of, you know, like, who is this guy just coming up talking to me and all that stuff, you know? So, but so yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for checking out the second episode of T.F.P Cichlid on YouTube. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, and also make sure that you friend me on Facebook, because over there you can actually reach me. You can reach me through Messenger and talk to me. We can chit chat, ask me some questions. We can go back and forth, you know, and we can just chop it up, you know, talk about the fish and all that kind of stuff. So just make sure you reach out to me, and I just appreciate you guys tuning in my channel, and for all that you guys you know, doing to the fish game and the hybrid game. No, let me stop. I love purebred fish too. So, but to the purebred fish and the hybrid game. So stay fresh and keep doing what you're doing. And I'm out here at T.F.P Cichlids in Baltimore, Maryland. Peace.